Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we are continuing with our Spring Boot backend course series. And in the last one, I talked about the introduction to the Spring framework and Spring Boot, and we saw what are the features of both and how these two are different, yet they are related to each other, right? So in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to create a simple Hello World controller, and we are going to see how that works. Okay. So there are two ways to do it. First is to go to this start.spring.io to bootstrap our project. So here you can select Maven, Java, and the versions are there. The project metadata is there, package name, and the Java versions and dependencies. Right. The another facility, if which we are going to use, is to use IntelliJ IDEA. Now, IntelliJ IDEA in the recent edition has become one. There is no more community or ultimate edition. It is now a one unified version. So if you come into this and if you click on new project, you will see that we have a Spring Boot project here, right? So you can create a Spring Boot project from here only, and we will do it from here, right? Now let's name our first application as first app, okay? Or maybe first Spring app, fine. And I'll change the directory. So I'll select YouTube here, and this is fine. Now, and from the build type, we'll select Maven. In the group, you can give com.app. For now, it is fine. Now, these group ID, artifact, and package name. I expect that you know something about Maven build system if you have learned Java programming language, because that is covered in that. And next, we have to select Java 25. So we are going to build this project in Java 25. Okay. So select this one, or okay, fine. Anyone we can select. And what next? Then go to the next one, and here all the kind of dependencies you will find. Okay, so you have developer tool dependency where you can add Lombok, where you can add DevTools or Docker. Then you have web dependencies. Then you have templates, security, SQL, NoSQL, messaging, IO, ops. Okay, so everything, even AI is there, right? We will explore all these things, but for now, for our Hello World thing, we only require one thing, and that is from the web, we select Spring Web. That's it. Just one dependency, and we'll say and select the latest version, Spring 4.0.1. If you're seeing this video a bit later, some another version may be there, but select a version with starting with 4. Okay, so that is the whole point, and then click on create. So give it a time. It will take some time to create. Fine. So my project has been created successfully. Now if I go into this folder, into the src main java com.app and the first Spring app application, so as you can see here, so this is the entry point from where the application starts. So now this annotation is very much important. This annotation basically is about what it tells. So this annotation tells that this application, or in the comment above, so it basically enables auto configuration. It scans for all packages, okay, all packages, and then all annotations and all that I talked about, and all the configurations. Okay, so this annotation is important for the Spring Boot application. Now, as I said, that it is, if we talked about yesterday in Spring Boot, that we can just start the run the application. So even if you run this application here, okay, run the current file, you will get, I mean, nothing much will happen. It will just simply start. Okay, so it is that easy. And you can see here, if you check in the logs, we can see here we have a servlet engine, Apache Tomcat, and Tomcat started on port 8080. 8080 is by default. We can change the port also. I'll tell you how we can change it. Okay, so all these applications that we are getting the server, we are getting everything configured. So if any configuration is required, also the minimal amount that I talked about yesterday, we can do here in the application.properties. Okay, so here we can basically do it. So if we do something like server.port equal to say 8000, okay, and if I come here, restart the application, so you can see Tomcat now has started on 88,000. Okay, so these kind of simple configurations you can do, and it is very much easier to do, right? So that is the most important part. So right now we'll stop this application, and we need to create our first controller. So how do we do that? We come here, we create a new class. So let's create a new Java class and we'll name it as hello controller. Okay. So now this hello controller, how do Spring know that we are creating a controller or this is a controller? So for Spring to know at the startup of the application, we have to, because when the application starts in the compile time only, it scans for all the packages and classes and checks for all the annotations like add controller, add rest controller, add a repository, add service. So that Spring can configure everything properly. It can set up bean factory, it can do dependency injection at runtime and all those things, right? So we have to annotate this with the REST controller. Why REST controller? Because we will be building RESTful API, right? Now, after that, normally we give a base URL to this particular controller. So what this normally is request mapping. Okay. So this request mapping and we say /API/hello. I'm just putting it like this. You can give it a slash or whatever you feel like /Superman. You can put it is perfectly fine. Okay, but yeah, sensible URL is /API/hello, something like this. You should put, which looks pretty standard things, right? And then to create request to create first hello and hello world thing, we need a get request. Okay, so we create a get mapping and then we simply say public string hello and return hello world. Thanks to AI, auto completion is coming up too fast. So here we are done. Now in get mapping, if you don't provide any value, so it will take the default path. But remember that two methods with same path is not acceptable. So if you create another get mapping, so you cannot, or just okay. So if you create another get mapping like this, so at the compile time only the application will not run, because these two both get request have the same URL, which is not acceptable. Okay, so that is one rule that you need to understand. So here we have base URL. Now this base URL, why I'm calling this a base URL for this particular controller is whatever methods you are going to write. Here you can write multiple methods, whether it is get request, post request, put request. Okay, so post request is you do when you want to send the data to the server. Okay, and get request is when you want to get the data from the server. Put and patch are for the for doing some kind of updates, and delete is for obviously the you want to do some kind of deletion in the backend for the data, right? So these are the important HTTP methods, right? Now we have done this. Now we'll go to here and we'll simply start this class. Okay, so as you can see, our class is started on port 8080, and now we'll go here, we'll come here and we'll say local host 8080. Now when we come to localhost 8080, we are seeing this error page. So why we are seeing this 404 error page? Because if you come here in the controller, we have said that we have created a controller with a base URL as /API/hello method. So we need to specify this, right? So we need to specify that /API/hello, and if we click on here, yeah, we are getting the hello world. This coming from this controller. Okay. Now suppose if I remove this, okay, and if I restart the application, okay. So if I have removed this base URL, and now I'm restarting the application. And if I do again, I'm getting 404 page, which is basically known as not found, right? But if I go to the simply 8080 localhost 8080, we are getting a hello world. So by default, look, this HTTP, if you see that in the Spring, I'll tell you. So let's put a comment out here. The base URL for the Spring whole Spring is 8080. Okay, this is your base URL which the Spring starts on. You can change it for the whole application. The base URL you can change, but this is the base URL which is by default for a Spring application. Now, whenever you write a controller, and depending on what URL you put it gets appended here. So right now we have not put any URL here. So after this, nothing comes, and on this base we are able to access this hello world. But if we change it back to API/hello, so now if we want to send request to this controller, the base URL for this controller, for the whole application, the base URL is this, but for this controller, it is hello, right? And then after that, it checks for the method, that which method is getting matches all this, whatever the request is there. So suppose you want something like get. Okay, now get is not present here, but if you put something like this, get, so this whole thing matches up and we are getting the hello world, right? So you will say that, okay, what if there are multiple controllers? Do Spring goes to every controller and checks for which path is there or what? So how this all is working out, right? So let's go to our Excalibur, and here is a diagram which will give you an idea about how things are working. So basically in Spring, what happens is whenever there is a client, so here the client is our browser, okay? It can be a Postman, it can be React or Angular applications. So whenever we are doing this thing, like we are sending the request on /API/hello, there's a front controller which is known as dispatcher servlet. Servlet you can also consider as a controller for now, okay? This the way we have built a controller here, okay? It is also kind of a controller. So what happens is this sits at the front. Now this request comes. Now it checks for the mapping of, first it checks for the mapping and then scans for the class, that in which class it is present, and then forwards the request to there and gets the response back. Okay, so this is how it does it. So if you, now you will say that, okay, so what it does it is very lengthy process because there can be hundreds of controllers. Then what it will do, it will check with every one of them and how it resolves the things. So the thing is, as I said earlier, if you come here, what I told you here, at Spring Boot application enables auto configuration and it scans for all packages and annotations. Now this is important. Why this is important? Because when you are starting the application, then what happens is Spring scans all the packages and the annotations present. What kind of annotations? These are the kind of annotations that Spring is looking for. These are the kind of annotations that Spring is looking for in each class, in each package, and within each package, all the classes. There are more annotations which we will learn gradually when we move to the project. But so these are the annotations which Spring looks for. Okay, so here it finds these kind of in different controllers, it will find for all these paths, right? And all these methods will have different kind of URL, right? So what happens, it creates a map lookup basically. So basically it creates a map lookup and it creates in the map, it uses a map registry class for that. Now in that map, the key is request mapping info object. Okay, request mapping info object, which contains path mapping, HTTP method, columns, headers, and content types. Okay, so content type can be application JSON, or it can be video/MP4, it can be image, PNG. Okay, so these are the kind of content type. And in the value, it contains the handler method object. So it is also class. So it contains an object of a class as a value. So it has the controller class being that to which method, to which controller it belongs to, what is the handler method for that particular request that is coming up, and it also checks the request body, path, variables, everything. Okay, so that it can exactly forward the request to the correct controller, and within the controller the correct method. That is important thing, right? So if you do a shift over here, and if you do request mapping info, okay, request mapping info, yeah, so here you can see we have this class, right? Request mapping info. Now it has all these things, path patterns, request patterns, everything it contains, right? It has its name, path patterns, pattern condition, and all these things. So this contains basically everything. And second class is the handler mapping. So let's come to handler mapping class. So here is the handler mapping class. So it has a lookup path. It has a path within handler mapping attribute, and all these things that I told you about. So you can go through these class and you can check that what the things are it using. And then, as I said, for map, it is using a mapping registry, right? So let's check once mapping registry. Okay, say this is a class, inner class mapping registry. It has various things. It has a registry which has a mapping registration. It has a path lookup, name lookup, course lookup, a read write lock. So these, and it contains handler method here, right? As I told you. So using all this maps and information, which Spring collects and creates at the when the app is starting, right? So that whenever you are passing slash API slash hello slash this kind of request, it don't have to search for each and every controller. It just look up in the map as a key value pair. It passes this as a key value key, and it gets the value, and it finds the controller and it forwards the method. If it cannot find it, it will return 404. As simple as that. Okay. So I've given you a bit of a higher level overview, because more deep you go into this, you will get a bit more confused at this point. Okay, because you don't know a lot of about this method, columns, content type, headers, because we have not gone far in the course. Okay, so once you complete this backend course, you will understand each and everything in detail. Okay, and that is the real, real fun begins there when you understand all these details that in depth. That is the real engineering, the backend engineering, right? So that's all for this video, because this has given you okay how we can create a controller. So I would request you to play with multiple controllers, try to create different kind of URL mappings and all, and check whether what works, what don't work, what kind of status code you are getting, right? So you can experiment with those. So in the next video, we are going to create a new project, and in that project, we will understand each and every concept as we will be implementing the project. Okay, the requirement. So as I have already told you what we will be covering in that project. So be ready for that. So that's all for this video, and do subscribe the channel for more such exciting content that is coming up, and like the video, share your feedback in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.